Welcome to DMM AllStars, an official Jagex partnered event where 30 content creators were invited to compete in a private world on new accounts in DMM mode style. Solo Mission is the absolute mastermind behind all of this. He was the one who was able to convince Jagex for this game mode, which in my opinion has proven to be the best content week of old school RuneScape in a long time. Be sure to thank him and of course Jagex. So anyway, the game mode. With 20 times XP rates, 6 times drop rates, and most importantly, PvP almost everywhere, things are bound to get messy. Let's quickly meet my team, shall we? I am proud to say that I was drafted onto the B0aty Burgers, where our leader, B0aty, strategically chose everybody with the intentions of having the most fun during the week. B0aty will prove to be capable of just about everything over the next week. He has game knowledge, he has PvP skill, he can PVM very well, and overall a great well-rounded player and perfect for Deadman AllStars. Next up, we have skill specs, an absolute beast to have on your team in a PvP game mode as he loves killing and hunting. He was also our shot caller at all the breaches and the absolute best at it. Sick Nerd. Don't underestimate him. He was a former rank 1 skiller and knows how to grind if it's needed. He also knows how to PVM and can help the team out with some of those upgrades as well. Next up is Donator. This man loves PKing and overall just being in the wilderness during Deadman. Especially when paired with skill specs, he will do anything he needs to try to ensure a kill. Not to mention, if somebody in the team ever needs help PKing, he will try to be there ASAP. Then finally, there's me, the level 3 skiller. I may have no PVM or PvP experience, but I have game knowledge and I can skill. I've only ever played in one Deadman before, where I maxed in 8 days and then quit. So it might not sound like I have too much to offer for the team, but you might be surprised. Day 1, here comes the start. Everybody made their way going wherever. Since tons of people rushed to the general store, I missed my chance to buy a spade, however I did manage to get a jug and a chisel. Some quests in Deadman are pre-completed, including Recipe for Disaster, which gives me access to the basement shop. Here, I was able to buy every single item needed for Cook's Assistant, just in case I need 20 cooking for a quest requirement or something later on. Because quest XP rewards are also 20 times, it makes sense to do as many as possible early on. Not to mention, there is a nice day 1 or 2 goal that I have that requires quest points, which I'll cover later on. After that quest, I made my immediate way to Gnome Stronghold, where my whole team was already training agility. We have a very calculated day 1 plan. Choosing what to do in the first few hours is crucial. There are only 30 people total in this world, but we all know this game fairly well. With PvP enabled almost everywhere, our team's thoughts were that it is important to try a safe-ish plan that won't put us too far behind should any of us die. Zombie pirates are great for early game. They give an unreal amount of GP and are easy to get to. The only thing is, what if 2 other teams also decide to go there? Then it's a battlefield and it could potentially be a complete waste of time. Which is why, in the first few hours, our plan was to get our leader, B0aty, to the Wilderness Agility course. There are only 2 requirements for the Wilderness Agility course. One of them is 52 agility, which when you do the Grand Tree with 20 times XP rates, you will already hit that level. My whole team already started, and I'm slightly behind, but I have a backup plan, where I'm going to get us supplies elsewhere. The second requirement is 150k GP. In order to be rewarded from the agility arena, you must deposit 150k coins in a coffer. The quickest way for us to get 150k was to have the whole team go to agility pyramid and trade B0aty 40k each. The team was however one man down for this strategy, because I was still working on something else. So 50 minutes in, B0aty has safely made it to the Wilderness Agility course, and the early food, restores, and GP was beginning to be printed. Meanwhile, while I did the Grand Tree, I had another small detour when I ran through RD. I had to thieve cakes for 50 thieving, and yes, these are higher XP an hour than silks. Well, I actually stopped at 43 thieving to be exact, because I would finish level 50 from another quest. While still working on the Grand Tree, I grabbed my jug and filled it with water and made my way to do a Monk's Friend. This quest rewarded me the early woodcutting levels, but the main reason I did it was the 8 wall runes to teleport around. Right next to Monk's Friend was Fight Arena. This quest gave us some nice attack levels early on, along with finishing off our 50 thieving. Now, it was finally time to get back on track and do the Grand Tree. When I got back to Gnome Stronghold, I decided to wield a sword instead of a staff and try to get some early strength levels, because being level 10 to 20 strength later on would help me for a quest. The Grand Tree is now done, which is 47 magic, 55 agility, 68 attack, and 38 combat. After that, I teleported to Lumbridge and bought a spade and did X marks the spot. That quest rewarded us with an XP lamp to use on any skill at level 1, which we put on Prayer for an immediate 1 to 22. Then, it was time to make my way towards Falador. Here, time for another quest, Recruitment Drive. This is what all of those strength levels are for. I have to melee this boss, and fortunately I still level up inside here, so it all worked out. The rewards from this quest gave us 33 Herblore, 56 Agility, and most importantly, 36 Prayer. Next, I made my way towards Berthorpe. This is the first indicator of my actual plan. I needed 50 Thieving and Agility for this next step. The Rogue's Den store, requiring those two skills, sells a lockpick. You're probably thinking at this point, what is this deadweight doing? He just trained a bunch of random skills and bought a lockpick? How is that going to help the team? Well, this lockpick is actually essential. Not only does it give me access to the fastest thieving XP per hour in the game, but the area is also located in a highly likely deserted area. I should never see anybody there. So I made my way to Zeah and ran north. I'm going to do skilling artifacts for thieving XP. There's a high chance that nobody comes here, and even without the book teleports, it's still a super fast thieving XP per hour method. Wait. Oh my god! The guards are still set up from yesterday from when I was testing. Just for some context, for this method to work, you have to set up these two guards. It only takes a minute, however, it does require me to teleport away and back. This game mode started on a Friday, and we were allowed to do some testing on the server prior. So the night before, I wanted to time how long it would take to get here and set up, and then train to 84 thieving. It was good. However, I didn't mess up the guards, which, as we see now, they never reset the servers, so I accidentally saved myself a couple minutes. 12 minutes later, already 50 to 76 thieving done. We are nearly 2 hours in now, and my plan is working in the sense that I have still not seen a single player in the game mode yet. I planned around people for a safe strategy, and it's all worked out so far. Here is 84 thieving, the final level before my goal. At this point, the team was already killing dragons for 43 prayer, but I wanted a safer way to get it. Knowing I was already 36 from questing, I had a lamp ready upstairs in the museum for 20k XP. That lamp got us level 42 prayer, and now we just teleport to Lumbridge to finish off 43. The count check will give 1 XP lamp per lifetime that is the equivalent of a genie lamp, meaning 10 times your level's XP. For example, 42 prayer would be 420 prayer XP, but of course on Deadman times 20, so 8,400 prayer XP. Now that we have 43 prayer, we can protect from melee, and it's time to finally start supplying the team. With 84 thieving, I can finally thieve rogue chests, and nobody has any reason to be anywhere near there, so it should be safe. Because I 100% do not want to be scouted on my way there, I'm taking the long and safe way by running from the GE instead of potentially being spotted at the lever. Alfie's killing bears or some shit in the wildy, so he's definitely doing wildy slayer. With our first successful scout, we continue to make our way towards rogues. Rogue chests are a great supply of nature and law runes, both of which are pretty important early game. Our whole team has plans to alch as much as we can for higher magic level, then of course the law runes to teleport around as we are all still early game and questing. There's other useful drops from here as well, such as runes for killing quest bosses, food for the obvious, gems for crafting XP, and even dragonstones for later on. In the meantime, B0aty is still running at the agility course, while Donator and Skill Specs are both taking turns picking up his loot so that he doesn't have to leave, and now, added onto that list, coming to Rogue's Castle to pick up my loot as well. After about 45 minutes at Rogue's, I got a bit nervous knowing there was no escape, and my team started to spot more and more other teams entering the wilderness. So I temporarily hit a wall. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. We had the nature runes, we had the law runes, all of those uncut gems, but what do I work on now? While figuring it out, I know I needed to eventually have 94 magic for barrage, so I made my way to library for some magic training. Also, just in case, while here, I decided to train some rune crafting should I need the low levels to complete a diary or quest later on. I've managed to get 55 rune crafting and 80 magic, and during that time, I was able to put together a plan as to what my next moves are. Straight back into questing, I did Daddy's Home mini quests for construction XP, as I have plans to build a good team POH later on. That quest got us level 1 to 33 construction, not bad. I was doing a couple other miscellaneous quests, and then my team started mentioning amulets of strength, and we needed rubies. Rubies were the only gem that I didn't get from rogue chests. However, there were other ways to get them. And since I was already high thieving, it would not have been hard. For the first time ever in my RuneScape career, I attempted to thieve gem stalls. Worst thing that ever happened. Then, I checked out safe cracking in Rogue's Den. These were actually realistic to get 5 rubies from. They had a 1 in 32 drop rate, and you seemed to thieve a decent amount per hour. Only 5 minutes later, we were the proud owner of 5 uncut rubies. Next up, we needed 5 gold bars, so I brought my teak and knife and made my way to mine some ores. And sure enough, I forgot to do 46 fletching. So now I'm stuck AFKing gold ores with a bronze pickaxe. Not ideal at all. A whole 3 minutes later, 5 gold ores were in my possession. Sick Nerd during all of this time has been questing, and I've been feeding him my gems for crafting level requirements, so he is going to be the one in charge of making these amulet of strengths. Next up, I had to just AFK in Lumbridge for 46 fletching, so that scenario did not happen again. Thieving rogues was just part 1 of my day 1 plan, however, there was a part 2. The team was overall worried about brew supply over the next week. We were not sure where it would come from, if we'd always have enough, etc. So I made it my goal to train farming ASAP for contracts, and then find a way to get 81 herblore to make brews. The best way to get to the farming guild for contracts was fairy rings, so I did Client of Karen for 32 crafting. This was a skill requirement for Lost City, which is a pre-quest of fairy rings. Then another quest, Lost City. And at this point, my combat stats are so much lower than anybody else on my team, and likely anybody else in the game. The boys were hitting up Scurrius for combat XP, so I decided to join them. Our hopes were to try to get the spine drop, which was 1 in 33 before any drop rate multipliers. I believe we did about 5 to 6 kills, although my memory is a bit iffy, and we only got 2 spines. The spines could be traded in for combat XP, or more specifically, prayer XP, giving 70k prayer XP per spine. This was almost our method to train to 70 prayer, but it didn't seem like increased drop rates, or maybe we were just unlucky, but we left. I jumped right back into questing, and at this point, surely you're wondering, why is this man questing so much? Remember when I said a big concern for the team was brew supply? Well, I needed 81 herblore. I'm getting that strictly from questing. The Legends quest rewards are not to be slept on. It gives 120k XP in the normal game and a few skill choices, herblore being one of them. Now, imagine DMM mode AllStars, where quest rewards are 20 times. This is 2.4 million herblore XP. That is an instant 1 to 81 herb XP lamp. One of the quest requirements for Legends quest is 107 quest points. This is why I've been doing a mixture of all of these random quests, along with other quests that will help me out in the future, such as Underground Paths. I cut 2 inventories of oak logs to do 50 construction with mahogany homes, and started to build some teleport portals for the team. The most important portal, the one that we needed ASAP, was the Barrows portal. The team was ready to send some barrows for upgrades. Another last minute decision, but we decided that we all wanted mixed hide armor. I'm pretty sure none of us knew what this was beforehand, but the only requirement was 72 Hunter, which I was more than happy to go train. After 72 Hunter, I mined some more gold ore, this time with 46 fletching so it was much faster, and I gave the team some teleport amulets such as game necklaces or Ring of Duelings. There was just one more requirement behind the mixed hides, which was Children of the Sun quest, so that I can access Baltimore. Somehow, the clip of my first breach got lost, but this did happen right before the hunter grind. I was super nervous about this breach. I knew I had the lowest HP level and overall combats on any team, so I would be a target. For those that don't know, breaches are supposed to happen once every 24 hours in this game mode, with the first one being 7 hours after release. The breach is located in one area, usually multi-combat, and the reason that all teams are lured and want to go to it is because we can get really good drops from them, such as a VOS or corrupted items, which should help us significantly early on. So we're all moving in together. I only have magic at this point, being 7 hours in, and I can cast Ice Splits. We killed B0aty, then regrouped and made our way back to find Kree, who is an absolutely terrifying boss that is not even worth killing when we're this weak. We went around and we found General Garage Door, who honestly made it look hopeful for us for a long time. He just had such high defense that it took forever to kill. After 2 minutes straight of all of us attacking, he was still alive, although low HP. However, we were starting to run out of ice sacks. Then, the inevitable. We got ambushed by another team. That, my friends, was my first death. I didn't let it demotivate me though. I had a lot of questing planned out afterwards, and I had a whole 24 hours to be ready for the next breach. This was only the beginning. So I don't know what other upgrades we could possibly have in the next 24 hours, but at the very least, mix hides will be done. Because I'm already 72 hunter, and now I'm catching the furs we need to make the armor. I am extremely late to the party, but Barrows has a mini quest that rewards 20k prayer XP on the main game, or 400k when 20 times. Everybody in my team has already done this at this point. However, since I've delayed combat so much, and B0aty was already here to help scout out any enemies, I decided to finally get it out of my way. I just have to kill each Barrows brother once, and with the elemental weakness update, where my air spells do 50% more damage, it's pretty quick. Here comes the loot, good luck. Unfortunately, no Barrows items, but the strange icon is what I needed for the mini quest. There it is turned in, and now our good old 400k prayer XP lamp. We are now level 65 prayer, not bad at all. The rest of my evening was spent just doing more quests, trying to push the 107 quest points. 17 hours into the first day, we finally got started on Legends quest. There are a lot of item requirements, so we don't have a lot of space for food, which means we are heavily relying on not running into anybody during the quest. Worst case scenario, we are hopeful to teleport out before they can attack us. Otherwise, we're just going to have to accept the death. Oh, this isn't... I think I'm actually dead. Are you serious? I'm actually dead. Oh, too clean! After almost getting PK'd by an NPC, Legends quest was completed and we can finally make brews. So, now what? We can make brews finally, but most of the team's asleep right now. I don't know what to do. I do remember that the one thing they asked me to do before the next day's breach was to get 94 magic for Barrage. So I went back to the library while I figured out what I wanted to do overall. So after 45 minutes, at a rate of 4.5 mil an hour magic, 94 was done, and we were ready for the second breach. At the beginning of the second breach, we decided to camp the Mage Bank just in case the team decided to hit up their MA2 capes during the busy time. We were all already here. The second somebody spawned in, we were going to instantly pop them. After about 5 minutes of waiting, nobody showed up, so we decided to make a late appearance to the breach. The burgers were bloodthirsty. We wanted a kill. I pretty much only have Barrage at this point, however, I did bring in Dragon Simi just for the spec. The special attack is very good in PvP. It will disable our opponent from using any protection prayers for 5 seconds. I was instructed to drop my D Simi spec after 1 Barrage, so that's what's on the top of my mind. Definitely not my cleanest of clicks, and probably my first ever spec I've landed in PvP. Unfortunately, he did get away. Thankfully, I did not die at breach number 2, so there was some progress there, even though I clearly spazzed out when it was time to attack. You live and learn though. 2 breaches in, 1 death from me, 1 goal down, which is the ability to make brews. This is a great ending on episode 1, so I will catch you guys next time. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and I will try my best to get episode 2 out within the next couple days. I will see you guys soon. Peace out.